Okay, so the first thing I did was I took my pattern and laid it on the table. With a number 2 pencil, I took my piece of vellum and I placed it over one of the patterns. I then traced using the number 2 pencil. It gave me a pretty good outline, and I don't believe it'll smudge. We might have to be a little careful going around real close to the edge. And the first thing I want to use is the markers, only because they're the easiest. I've chosen 3 different colors, and hopefully you can watch me just color this. And we'll see what it turns out like in the end. And let's see, I think I'll do this one orange. And maybe this one orange. It doesn't matter too much if you go outside your lines because you will be cutting it out later when it's dry. I think I'll take the green and I'm going to go on this one right here. And this one. And then for this really pretty blue, I'm going to do the top of the feather. See, really simple. Color, color, color. Okay. That's all there was to that. Let's flip it over and see what it looks like. You can still see the lines. Now if you wanted to, you could go around the outside edges of that feather with a gold felt tip pen or a silver one, depending on the look that you were looking for. And or you could go along with using a black Sharpie. Either one would work. You can also use whichever side pleases you. And if we hold this up to the window, hold on, I'll do that right now. Now I hung this with the brightest side towards the sunlight, so towards the outside, but this is the opposite side. You can still see your lines pretty clearly. Now you can cut this out, but please use very, very, very sharp scissors. The vellum actually tears and creases very easily. Okay, please remember that my samples are larger than your pieces, but here is the climbing rose pattern transferred to vellum paper using pencil. You can see that I filled in the lines on the border and the darker leaves of the pattern. I will do this one with markers, and then I'm going to do, using a clear piece of plastic, I will do the climbing roses on plastic with the paint and glue mix. The first thing you'll want to do is mix up your paint and white glue, your black paint, white glue very well, and then you will outline the climbing rose picture, and we will let that dry. Next, we will need to choose our paint colors for the roses and the leaves. And we will take and mix a drop of clear glue with a drop of acrylic glue, because it's not going to take much paint or glue to finish this project. Waiting for my outline paint to dry, I went ahead and took just regular acrylic, a hot pink color, and a tiny paintbrush, and added the swirly lines in the middle of the roses. And I am going to do the same thing, these right here, going to do the same thing with the leaves, not mix it with the glue yet. And when it's all dry, then we will mix glue and paint together and go ahead and finish. Hopefully you can see the little tiny drop of clear glue. And I'm going to add a drop of green. I'm going to do my leaves first. And then we will mix those thoroughly together. You can use a tiny paintbrush, you can use a toothpick, you can use the little pastry bag that we made earlier, however you want to use it to fill your colors in. My glue, here is my glue mixed thoroughly. I'm going to put some on my toothpick. I'm going to try it first and see how it works. Oops. I'm a little shaky today, so my lines aren't the best in the world. But yes, it works pretty well with just a toothpick. Be sure and keep your plastic flat while the glue is drying. The glue and paint mix is drying because it will run. Later on this year, we'll be using this same method to create iris flowers. But I use white glue and acrylic paints for those. Here we go. So if you continue and get it all painted in, let it dry, it'll be ready to hang. And I mentioned some different ways to hang it in the instructions that I emailed last week. If you didn't get those, please get a hold of me. But first we will, while this is drying, we can work on the frame. We can stain those 4 pieces of wood and then we can cut them to fit our picture. And as stated in the instruction guide also, I'm running a contest this time. Whoever, just send me your finished photos and I'll put your name in the hat and send you something cool. Talk to you later.